A couple years ago, I made a video back talking about Rank 7 when they had established that that was going to be the new max rank within the game. Um, at that time, in that video, I had voiced concerns that the circumstances of the vehicles that were likely going to fulfill Rank 7 were simply just not in the game. That was my argument at the time when it came to that video, but with Rank 8 being now announced, I feel like that the circumstances have changed in regards to why I'd say Rank 7 premiums and Rank 8. I mean, Rank 8 would be fine by itself. The only issue I have with Rank 8 are the circumstances that I need a little bit more time to go into detail with. So, maybe in this video, maybe not. I'd talk about it, but predominantly, I need to talk about the Rank 7 premiums because that's a big one. I've heard, I think from European Canadian, they have a leak list. I'll put the video in the description if you guys are curious. But, oh my goodness, I hope that it's not true because the circumstances with the Rank 7 premiums is likely going to be absolutely catastrophic should they just insert them into the game without any changes, especially in BR. So, to start out with, the reason why I'm opposed to the Rank 7 premiums comes down to the fact that the current state of Rank 6 premiums is at a catastrophic state. And I can't understate that or overstate it enough. Like, it is horrific playing as the United States at anything around 10.3 BR wise. Whether that's 11.3 or that's 9.3, oh my god, it is so bad. Simply, you have to watch it, or you have to play it, I should say, in order to fully immerse yourself in the situation. And I'm going to go over brief circumstances, and it really comes down to a lot of things. And I'll explain why the situation for Rank 7 does not make sense, especially for the fact that Rank 6 doesn't make sense. Why do I have a problem with Rank 6 premiums? Because Rank 6 premiums allow people to get access to that level of the game, rank and BR. I know people, run the whole gripe, or Gaijin runs the whole gripe, that it's not high rank, it's not top rank, no such thing exists. I don't care what that says, that literally means nothing to me. The circumstances when it comes to the high rank vehicles like AV-8A, F5C, A-10A, Sukhoi 25 Kilo, it's just, list goes on and on. A5C, SPSK, it just, like I said, it keeps going on and on and on. And with Rank 7, it's just going to be taken to a whole nother level. Now, it is my firm opinion and observation from watching the players and witnessing the players of the BR, the majority of players cannot handle the aircraft, and they cannot handle the style of play, at least in air realistic. I think in ground realistic, the aircraft have the best argument for being present within the game, but after playing and I don't want to say suffering, I'm not going to make it sound like I'm in anguish, but it is annoying, to say the least, watching people fly their F5Cs, fly their AV-8As. I can understand the A-10, but all the other aircraft, minus maybe SPSK, because frankly just haven't seen players have the desire to drive themselves to the point of arming bombs on these planes, all rushing for bases at low altitude, getting picked off by everything else. And then after that, the moment they actually choose to dogfight, they make the most rookie mistakes that they would have made back at 3.7, 5.7. I'd even argue some people still make the mistakes at 6.7 while they're still learning. And maybe even to the jets a little bit, 7.0, 8.0. The lessons start, really, really fusing at that point to what you can and what you cannot do in a situation. But these people are showing up in sub-level 10 accounts And you have to assume that at that point they're probably not level 10 unless they're really trying to do something funny. But I have not seen people sub level 30 that have had premiums be successful in this game. At least high rank, rank 6 premiums. I have seen them suffer mistake after mistake after mistake. And often it's either a case that they're getting frustrated or they simply just don't see the problem and they keep doing it. And that cannot continue. The reason why it happens in Air is because Air, I don't want to drive this the wrong way, but Air Realistic and even Simulator require a higher intellectual standard than what is expected on the ground. From what I have seen when it comes to tanks, and I could even argue ships, the doctrine that occurs typically in those game modes does not change. You are either range finding, you are maneuvering, you are shooting, you are looking for weak spots, you are looking for critical, pieces of equipment. That stays consistent throughout. When it comes to Air, it is a positioning fight. It is not a, oh yes, I'm gonna, aim at this, spot on the aircraft. It's nothing like that. It's purely a case of getting into position, either maximizing use of altitude, whether it's high or low. It's understanding the use of countermeasures in BVR and in close range combat. It comes down to understanding what weapon engagement zones are and understanding what 1 and 2 circle dogfights are. Videos which I do have planned, by the way. They are in the works. Now, that might sound really overwhelming to someone who's sub-level 25. And that is why I have a problem with people, encountering vehicles or buying vehicles rank 7 or rank 6 and up for premiums. They have not received the lessons. There's an element of time or experience that is required to get to those points. By all means, if you're a legend, and don't get me wrong, planes like the F5C, the A5C, those planes are good aircraft. I'd even argue the SPSK is a good aircraft. I've seen people make the MiG-21S work really well. It does not mean that they are bad vehicles, but simply because the populace who typically fly them are mostly inexperienced, that are usually, like I said, the sub-level 20s and 30s. And I'm not saying that people that are level 100 and down don't make mistakes in them. They do. But my point is, I'm tired of seeing so many people populate the game. When I see someone make a mistake, statistically speaking, I think I encounter more than likely the people that meet my target group of responsibility. And that has to change. And rank 7 premiums, I don't see how that's going to make the change. Circumstantially, in order to improve the circumstances, and it's very annoying because, like I said, the situation in the game is really messed up right now with regards to Air Realistic. The only way to check the amount of premiums that are in the game is either done by 2 things. It's by having a BR above it, absolutely clean house and try and keep it in check, which is kind of what happens right now. And then the other is physically going in and fixing it. I think currently in the game right now, we have a surplus of attacker aircraft in the game. Due to the lack of bombers showing up at the BRs, because obviously I'm not going to make the argument that bombers should be at top tier. You should understand that first. But it is not, I repeat, not going to work when you have 8 or 10 players and attackers all trying to drop bombs simultaneously while the opposing team does not have the said, circumstances happening to it. And these are like different attackers too. These aren't the same, oh yeah, they're all the same AV8 or they're all the same SPSK or the same, nothing like that. Or not SPSK, but like A5C. Stuff like that. That will not work. That stuff very easily just falls into the situation. And even like I said, A10s. the mess that shows up to the merge at the fight, when it comes to the central part of the map, is such a mess. Nothing makes sense. If you were to look at a game that would take place back at 9.0, back, say, let's say 6 years ago, like from this day, if you look at videos from that 6 years ago at 9.0, I guarantee you the circumstances were catastrophically different. And in the sense that they actually made sense, the gameplay was more... it was more acceptable for all parties involved. Nothing surprising was happening, and I know that comes down to what's been added to the game, but in my opinion, as of now, with the way top tier is, and the way the battles are going right now, we need to see a rank or an attacker limit on teams. I think 5 to 6 is probably the limit, no more than that. Beyond that, it should be fighters, and of course bombers. But I just don't see how it can possibly work in the benefit of the team to have so many aircraft like that. Yes, A-10s have insane missiles. Yes, AV-8s have insane climb performance. Yes, F-5s are characteristically the most friendly aircraft to fly and very, very capable in dogfights. A-5s have some of the best missiles at the BR. The list goes on and on. But at the core of my argument, like I said, the skill issue is there. The experience is lacking. And there has to be a way to fix that. And I don't see how adding aircraft... and don't get me wrong, I'm really excited to see an aircraft like the Intruder show up. That's been an aircraft I've been on the soapbox for quite a bit in my friend circles. But to see things like that being added, another attacker at the BR, another thing to drop bombs, another thing to take away from the fighter slots on the team, makes winning battles almost... it makes it almost nigh impossible if you're doing it solo. You have to play in a squad. And unfortunately, from my current circumstances with how, when I go to play the game, I don't have any friends left that still play the game with me since 2013. That friend group is pretty much gone, so when it comes to what they're doing other game-wise, regardless. So I don't see how this is going to make the game any better. Now, stepping to the second point, beyond that, research is going to be a bigger bear now than anything else. Now you have to achieve the rank requirement of rank 7 now to move to rank 8. That's cool and all, except for the fact that after the last rank increase from 6 to 7, when it came to air, I can't think of anyone that I encountered who said that the transition went smoothly for them. Now, I'm subtracting myself from the equation, because I have pretty much every plan in the game. But when I see something like that occur, something that involves, a lot of the people I play with, and all of a sudden now they've lost probably, or they probably doubled the amount of time that they have to invest in the game now just to get past the rank 6 to rank 7. And I can't imagine rank 7 is going to do much better for people at rank 7 to rank 8. And that's if people have recovered past rank 6 still. I still talk to people that are fighting the rank 6 situation of them being locked out of the ability to research rank 7. That's annoying. Very, very annoying. Now, to that point, I think that that's an inevitable, and that's going to happen rank 8. So I understand it. I don't exactly understand why they're trying to push off rank 7 as its own era, though. Because currently I do not see how that has been successful. So probably just, going to sidestep that comment by Gaijin. But the third circumstance with regards to the whole situation. Now, this is more of a case of the BR situation right now. Is it needs to be decompressed. It is ridiculous when I see an SPSK showing up at what? Was it 10.0? Is it still 10.0? Yeah, 10.0. Encountering things at 9.0 with R60s. That's dumb. And the same situation applies to the A5. And these aircraft get driven down in BR because the player performance is so horrific. But the moment it lands in someone who knows what they're doing, like in their hands, the game is pretty much over with. So the fact that people are performing horribly in the aircraft is making the aircraft more and more lethal. Not only for the current team, but the future BR. So that just keeps happening. Aircraft like that need to be pushed away from those BRs. BRs like 9.0, 9.3, even 8.7 need to be saved. I don't understand why a Sabre is able to encounter a Sukhoi 25. That just seems a little insane. So, BR-wise, I think the game should be increased to 12.0. That should give healthy margins for the new aircraft they plan on adding this winter. And on the flip side, things like the F-14, the Mirage 2000, the Harrier GR7, those things can be elevated to a BR that is more appropriate for their use. That would help tremendously with the game. Now, the fourth thing I'd like to see, and this might be a little tricky for some people, it's a very debatable subject, I think, coming back the other way, is the EC maps need to be increased in their occurrence and rotation. Yes, I know many people find the EC maps unpopular due to their size and time required. However, I would like to emphasize the fact that in those games, so much more can happen for the aircraft. I do agree that certain key capabilities need to be added, like droppable fuel tanks, to help extend the range of things like the Draken and the Lightning, and various aircraft like them. That would help. Additionally, I'd like to see a few more sets of targets when it comes to the battlefield. I think 2 groups of AI fighting each other is not acceptable. It should be at least 3. The number of bases is fine though. So that should stay the way it is. Beyond that, we need to see the EC maps more in rotation. Too much I'm seeing these small battlefields where the moment some of these aircraft take off, they're already in the encounter with each other. And you obviously can figure out what vehicles those are. If not, then have a look around YouTube. The situation needs to be better reaction time-wise. The EC maps also need to have an auxiliary airfield. That way, aircraft that are slow or lack the range have somewhere to recover, but they can maintain the fact that they can spawn from the main airfield / the rearmost airfield, like the current airfields. That is the correct doctrine going forward. So, for all that, that's pretty much all I have to say with regards to those things. Like I said, I'm willing to sit there and debate these things, even in the comments. I think there's plenty of argument to go behind what I'm saying. If anyone else has a better idea, be my guest. But right now, I don't see how Rank 7 premiums do us any favors right now. It simply just seems like a repeat of the Rank 6 travesty that's, befallen this game. And it should be understood that them doing this really, really hurts the player base. Every time I see this, I swear I'm seeing players like stop playing with me because they're just so fed up with the grind. How's that fun for me? And I'm the one that sits here and plays this game, good or bad. So, situationally, things need to change. And I do not believe that Rank 7 Premium should go ahead. I think that should stay on the back burner for as long as possible. And there needs to be some form of restriction. I know it sounds crazy for them to try and restrict their own product, but it has to make sense. Those premiums are currently being restricted by an $80 or $70 paywall, I think is what it is. That's a lot of money. But frankly, from the fact that how many people buy the $60 vehicles that are already in the game, it would not surprise me the least that they would show up. And if the product does poorly, so what? They pull it from the store. It's just going to give them more of a drive to find something to replace it to get that money gap. I get that Gaijin needs to make money, but the game has to be effective and be productive for that to happen. It can't be that you show up to 10-3 and now you're meeting people that have 50,000 battles of experience encountering people that have maybe 100 battles if you're lucky. That's got to stop. So I'll leave you with that. That's my 10 cents on the whole deal when it comes to Rank 7 premiums and Rank 8 being added to the game. Rank 8 I get. Rank 7 premiums, we don't need them. I get it. You want to get money, but you got to find it somewhere else because this isn't the way it's going to work. It's going to be even more of a mess, and you're going to get even more frustrated Gaijin trying to sell these things. It's just not going to work. It's, like I said, it's simply not going to work. Find the money elsewhere, improve the current product. You'll make your money. Anyways, guys, I'll see you guys next time, hopefully with the new videos, such as jamming the Wes. And additionally with that, 1 and 2 circle maneuvers. See you guys next time.